really seeks to remediate home equity, and neighborhood loss. We do that in three ways. We do mutual aid. We quite literally have, over the last 5 years, deployed about $600,000 to keep more than 100 families, mostly black families, in their houses. We see a lot of what happens when people have not done their estate planning, and because of that, the families are not able to get tax credits. They're not able to get into home repair programs. They're not able to navigate keeping or transitioning the asset from one generation to the next. We also do community education, because one of the reasons why those things happen is because people are not aware of what the probate process is. Everyone, I'm not an attorney, but I work with attorneys all the time, and one of the attorneys we work with often says that everyone has an estate plan. If you don't dictate what yours is, the state has one for you, right? And the state's estate plan for everybody is really about them collecting their percentage. The probate process is about taxes, right? And so there are ways to avoid that through the estate planning process, of which having a will is one. There's some other documents that I think everyone should talk to an attorney about getting, and that includes an advance directive, a living will, life estate deed. And even if you don't ever get to a point, although you should, that you do get those documents in place, please, at a minimum, make sure you check all your beneficiary designations annually. Because that is a big,
for the crowd, what those things
sure,
are.
a beneficiary
Advance directives,
designation.
wills, all that type of stuff.
Is like if you have a life insurance policy, it is who is supposed to benefit from that policy at your death or your disability. You can actually put a beneficiary designation, as mentioned, on your vehicle with the MBA, but Maryland also has a document called a life estate deed, which is, for lack of better terms, is a beneficiary designation for your house. And one of the things that's very powerful about the life estate deed is that when you assign this beneficiary, you skip probate. The house does not go through the probate process. So this is important because the probate process comes with taxes, right? So you want to avoid probate. Anybody in here can talk to an attorney of your choosing, but if you do not have, if you make under, I think it's $65,000 in the state of Maryland, you can get a pro bono attorney through Maryland Volunteer Lawyer Service or the Pro Bono Resource Center. If you make more than $65,000 and you are over 65, you can go to Senior Legal Services, and just whatever your income is, they can do an estate plan for you. So we do community education through, coming to meetings like this. We do workshops where we talk about explicitly how to save Big Mama's house, because, the house is not just about the money. It is about the familial ties. It is about the history of our family, and oftentimes of a neighborhood at large. And then the last piece of work that we really do is we do policy work, because we recognize we can't bake sale our way out of these problems. We can't bake sale our way out of tax sale. We can't get rid of ground rent without going to the General Assembly. We cannot, get rid of slumlords and developers doing all kinds of wild stuff in our community without dealing with the city council, the mayor, and the General Assembly and the governor. And so for the last 5 years, we've been working to do just that, to get rid of tax sale, because it is our contention that nobody should lose their house for property taxes, and you certainly should not lose your house for $1,000 worth of property taxes and then not get any of your equity.
Yeah.
One of our clients, Ms. Benita Anderson, is a part of a lawsuit that Legal Aid has brought against the lien purchasers. And so we are really attempting to see that through. At the same time, we're working with the General Assembly and the Bureau of Revenue Collections in Baltimore to make sure that people can pay their property taxes through payment plans. Right now, you can only pay annually or biannually, not monthly, not quarterly, which causes a lot of people a lot of angst, because oftentimes oftentimes widows don't, their husbands die, and their husband was the one who took care of the finances, and they just don't know until it's too late. And so we do a lot of work, policy work. We are, this legislative session, we are really going to be focused on getting a statutory life estate deed bill through that would allow, right now, if you want to get a life estate deed, you have to go to an attorney. We want people to have that option to just use a form, right, and have their identity verified when filing that form, and then that would avoid probate for their houses. And we're also going to be really pushing back heavily. I don't know if everyone has seen, there was a series of stories on Fox News about squatters, and about people taking over people's homes, and the bills that went through. There were 6 bills in the General Assembly last year to try to fight squatters. Unfortunately, the way those bills were written, that they would basically circumvent everybody's due process. So anybody, you could be in a domestic violence situation, and all the other person living in the house would have to do is go to the sheriff and swear out that you weren't supposed to be there. You could be evicted without going before a judge. We don't think that is appropriate. Everybody is supposed to, have due process of the law. We all are hearing about this in terms of immigration, but we think it applies as well in terms of housing, because what happens when you get evicted and then they find out later that person wasn't telling the truth, or whatever the case may be. So we're really going to be focused on the squatter, pushing back against squatters bills that we think are going to come back. But that's what we do. We do a lot of work just trying to make sure that we are keeping folks who have been in Baltimore and have bared the brunt and the weight of keeping the city going are able to stay as the city attempts to regenerate it itself. And so I'm happy to take any questions about the work or anything else that we're doing.
What's the status on your efforts to, you said you're working